Quake is a first-person shooter developed by id Software and released in 1996. The game gets a lot of attention for its leaps forwards in technical ability over the previous Doom engine. It was a truly 3D game. Elements could be stacked, hallways could twist around, and rooms could actually be directly above and below other rooms, something that the Doom engine didn't allow. The engine also supported sectioning so that inaccessible or unseen parts of the level were not loaded into memory, and pre-calculated light mapping, allowing for lighting that felt more realistic than most other games at the time, with a fraction of the processing power needed to display the lighting effects. The game also lent itself to a massive modding community, with custom levels and skins, and even new game types, such as the first version of Team Fortress that I had ever played. The engine would evolve and be licensed out for use in some of the most memorable games in history, including, eventually, the original Call of Duty. While the game was originally rendered in software mode or with specific hardware in mind, eventually the Quake engine was ported to OpenGL when GL Quake was officially made by id Software, though never given much in the way of support. While this version had broad support for different resolutions, this video is recorded in GL Quake at 640 by 480 to give a classic and authentic feel. I also have included some footage from Quake for the Nintendo 64, which will be marked as Quake 64 in the corner of the screen, which you'll notice does have less detail. Still, from a graphics perspective, the Quake games weren't quite as well remembered for being revolutionary as id Software's earlier Doom franchise, but they did some technically amazing things. The music of Quake is well known for the involvement of Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails, but much like the reputation of the game's engine itself, it doesn't get as much recognition as something like E1M1 music from Doom. Still, the music and the ambient sounds, whether in the PC version with the music turned off or the Nintendo 64 version of the game, it's all excellent and helps set an interesting tone depending on where you're at in the game. Sound effects in the game are flat out awesome. Everything is rich in bass, and the weight of grenades and rockets can be felt just as much as they can be seen. This was one of the first games that inspired people to hook up better speakers and even subwoofers to their computers. The game chirps and beeps of the old days are totally gone, supplanted by gritty, real-world sounds, including enemies who screeched and howled when they came after you. The gameplay is fairly straightforward as shooters go. Get to the end of the level, kill anything in your way, the classic id Software formula. Occasionally you need to find keys or other items to help you along your way, and you want to collect runes at the end of the first 3 episodes, which will allow you to unlock the 4th episode and complete the game. Upon collecting a rune and escaping an episode, that episode gets locked off in the main hub of the game so that you can move forward and progress the story. From enemies to level design, Quake has a lot of variety. You encounter modern soldiers with firearms, and also sword-wielding knights in armor, and then spirit and demon-like creatures obstructing your path. While some levels show signs of technology, others are decidedly more mythical and gothic in design. Many levels have allegedly demonic or satanic symbols, which begs the question, why wasn't Quake just a sequel to Doom? Let's see if this story can give us any clues. While I don't have the manual for the PC version, other than this manual that was included with the Steam version of the game, I do of course have the Nintendo 64 manual, and the two of them look pretty similar, so let's see what it says. Background. You get the phone call at 4 a.m. By 5:30, you're in the secret installation. The commander explains tersely, it's about the slipgate device. Once we perfect these, we'll be able to use them to transport people and cargo from one place to another instantly. An enemy, codenamed Quake, is using his own slipgates to insert death squads inside our bases to kill, steal, and kidnap. The hell of it is, we have no idea where he's from. Our top scientists think Quake's not from Earth, but another dimension. They say Quake's preparing to unleash his real army, whatever that is. You're our best man. This is Operation Counter-Strike, and you're in charge. Find Quake and stop him. Or it. You have the authority to requisition anything you need. If the eggheads are right, all our lives are expendable. Prelude to destruction. While scouting the neighborhood, you hear shots back at the base. Man, that Quake works fast. You heard about Operation Counter-Strike and hit first. Racing back, you see the place is overrun. You are almost certainly the only survivor. Operation Counter-Strike is over, except for you. You know that the heart of the installation holds a slipgate. Since Quake's killers came through, it's still set to his dimension. You can use it to get loose in his hometown. Maybe you can get to him personally. Pump around into your shotgun and get moving. Oh, so the name of the enemy in the game is Quake? Or at least that's what the Earth Forces codenamed him? I honestly had no idea. I also don't want to get too deep into the weeds like I'm known to do, but when it comes to Quake, the franchise often hops around. While Quake itself jumps from tech to fantasy, combining technical slipgates with magical portals, it seems like it's trying to use technology to harness what was once called magic. But the game doesn't actually chase that storyline very much. Quake 2 and Quake 4 seem to be set in the same universe, and while Quake 3 features a character or two from Quake, it's mostly just an arena shooter with minimal window dressing for a story, and it certainly doesn't tie much of the Quake franchise together. Quake seems to be a franchise id Software uses to experiment with. The game itself has a very loose outline of a story and proceeds to draw more and more on influences from author H.P. Lovecraft the further you get into the game. Maybe it was just finally starting to find a direction, but it was rushed out the door because it had been too long since Doom 2 was released. Quake itself also features 2 expansion packs, but the plots of both can be summed up as, just when you thought it was over, you dove right back in, which is fine and all, but I'm still not really sure what I'm diving into. And the game doesn't do much to tell you either. I really hope that diving in and doing an episode on this game I sort of glossed over when I was younger might unveil some great secrets to the fiction and lore of the Quake franchise. But honestly, nothing's been cleared up for me. id Software made some iconic games, and when I covered Doom for the second ever episode of Our Story So Far, I said that it had a story and that Doom wasn't just a mindless shooter. Another, Wolfenstein 3D, had a plot where you had to escape Castle Wolfenstein. Even Commander Keen always walked the line between being a fantastical adventure or the whole game being pure imagination of the character Billy Blaze becoming a superhero thanks to his brother's football helmet. But Quake? Quake is like a knockoff of Doom, but instead of Mars somehow finding or opening a portal to hell, you're just some dude in a military base experimenting with teleportation technology. Your peers accidentally end up in another dimension, then the ruler of that dimension, or multiple dimensions, wants to invade yours. So you take the fight to Quake's dimension. Oh, and by the way, you named him Quake, because it's the 90s and your mom said you couldn't have a hamster, so you named the evil entity hellbent on destroying the Earth the most radical name you could think of. I'm sorry. I just honestly can't make heads or tails of this game. It just exists. It's best to remember Quake for its modding community and the advancements in 3D game design and the mark the Quake engine has left on the world. Because this refresher has shown me that while there was a lot of groundbreaking technology involved in the game's development, Quake's story certainly isn't earth-shattering. But at least you can't say I didn't give it a fair shake on Our Story So Far. Hey everybody, thanks for watching episode number 70 of Our Story So Far TV. I'm Garrett, aka New Angel. If you liked that video, you know what to do. Hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you really enjoyed it. And if you have a friend who's into the Quake franchise, send them the video, maybe they'll enjoy it. If you want to chat with me and you don't think a comment on YouTube is the way to go, then hit me up on Twitter at NewAngel, that's NUANGL. If you're looking for more of the same, and YouTube's algorithm is giving you a hard time, just go to ourstorysofar.tv. That's where I keep all the episodes in 1080p quality. New episodes of Our Story So Far come out every 2 weeks, and in the off weeks I'm now starting to do something different. It might just be part of my game collection or who knows what, but feel free to check back on the off weeks too. Until next time, take care.